Hey guys, welcome back to another Sunday episode. So glad you're tuning in. My name is Cody if it's the first time joining me. So I just went for my morning run and, you know, I got really inspired to talk about beauty and the wonder of the world, all of the stuff going around us that most of us don't even ever see, including myself most of the time. Now I'm going to talk about something. I'm going to talk about being in the present moment and how so much beauty opens up for you. But like, I am in no way have this figured out. I don't want to act like, 5 months after a spiritual awakening, I'm in the present moment. I'm living it. I'm doing all this shit that's just present all the time. It's not true. Like I would say like probably 90% of the time I'm still unconscious, which means I'm always in my thoughts. I'm always thinking about things. I'm never here. I'm always somewhere there or over there or yada, 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 reliving a past moment, all of that type of stuff. But I used to be at 100%. So I'm making progress. And the fruits of my labor have been, I mean, it's unreal. When I tap into the present moment, it's just like that's where it's at. So anyways, I was thinking about something while I was going for a run. And, when I would go for a run, it's like I was mentioning, I would always be in, or anything, like at the grocery store, or if I was working on a paper, or if, just my whole life was unconscious. So I would basically not be doing what I was doing. My thoughts would be somewhere else. And so you just miss out on everything that's around you because you're not paying attention to it. You don't give it any value. You don't give it any love, any attention, any of that stuff. It's just something that's there. You're ignoring it and you're doing something else. You're just wandering off unconsciously through your mind, repeating old patterns, doing all these types of things. And, the only time that I can really think of before my spiritual awakening, when I could actually not be unconscious and I was conscious of the moment, was when I would go travel somewhere, like go to Europe or just wherever, somewhere new and exciting, because I would want to soak it in. But the thing that's so wild about it is I didn't even know that I was being conscious then. I didn't know I was living in the present moment because I didn't even know what the present moment was. The present moment is being so wrapped up in something that's happening currently to you that you're just in it. Like if you can think about if you've ever hung out with a friend who you're just having the best time with and you are just involved in the conversation, you're not wandering off in your mind, you're sitting there, you're laughing. I mean, that's present moment, right? Or if you see this beautiful waterfall that you haven't seen. But what I want to talk about is just a little bit different. I want to talk about like the natural beauty and wonder that's going on, unfolding in front of you, even when you're not on a vacation or traveling or, having an enlightening conversation with a friend. I've had some dude, I just was so much living on autopilot my whole life. It's just wild how much you get lost in just your thoughts. And once you start understanding that you're not your thoughts, you get a whole nother level of living. And I mean, it's the level of living, right? And, I'm starting to just appreciate things that are just unfolding in front of me, just enjoying the moment instead of not being there. You know what I didn't even know? I didn't even know that there were fucking trees that grew flowers. I'm sure most of you did. Everywhere I'm looking, there's trees with flowers on them. I'm like, when did this happen? That's the raddest shit I've ever seen. I never saw it. And then it's like another thing. It's like a bird. I went for a run and it was 5 o'clock in the morning. Nobody's around. This bird is doing like on top of a light. And it's just like bouncing up and down, like flying up. It's doing some type of mating stuff. But I just took off my headphones. It was completely silent. I just watched this bird jump up and down. I even recorded it. And I watched it do it for like 4 minutes. It was like the most beautiful thing I'd ever seen. Like I was just alone in silence watching this bird do its thing. It was unreal. And then it's like birds. I didn't care about birds before. Now I'm looking at a bird and I'm like, oh my God, a bird is the raddest thing I've ever seen. And it's just wild that all of this stuff is just happening in front of me and I never paid any attention to it whatsoever, ever. And so it's just like, I just wanted to share this video because I'm wondering how many of you are like that too. How many of you are missing out on the wonder of what's unfolding in front of you, of the present moment, of the things that seem monotonous and everyday, or that you don't even realize you're missing. It's like I think that's really what's missing with a lot of humanity, is just getting lost in thought, getting focused on who's right and who's wrong and labeling things. This is pretty, this is not. I like this, I don't like this. Ooh, that's a nice shade of green. Look at how beautiful that green is. That's an ugly green. It's like, dude, like get out of that stuff, right? And like I said, I don't have this figured out, but I like it is like it's it. Like, I don't even think life changing is the appropriate word. Like, it's literally, it's like transcendence. It's I'll give you another example. Okay, I had a really difficult moment with one of my sons, and it wasn't anything like too crazy, but we know, like, he was acting out and very hard to handle. And you know what happens is, when those things happen to me, I get lost in thought, right? My ego gets lost in it, and I start replaying what I want to say and what he said to me and what I'm going to say back to him, and how dare he, why won't he listen to me, like all of this stuff in my head. And what I did is, with what my tools right now is, coming back to your breath is so important. If you gotta learn some breath work. But I just was able to take a deep breath, breathe it in, breathe it out, try to separate myself from my ego, and just allow the situation to just be. And in that moment, I was able to let everything go. I realized all of that was ego driven. All of it was about me trying to be right, him not listening to me. You know, all of those things were, instead of just understanding that I'm replaying this argument in my head with a 2.5, 3-year-old. Like, how ridiculous is that? And how many times do we do things like that, where after an argument happens or something, we just get stuck in that thought, rethinking it, trying to make it feel better in our heads, trying to make it feel better. And it's, oh, it made us feel bad, I got to get back to feeling good. But really, all you're doing is running around in freaking circles. And once you're able to kind of separate from that and take a deep breath and be in the moment, you start seeing some shit, and you start feeling some shit, and you start being some shit that you never knew was even there. And it's wild that humanity has gotten to a point where just so many people just never experience it, because they're so trapped in the day-to-day, trying to get something that makes them happy, trying to achieve something. And those things will never get you there. They'll never get you there. They're all fleeting. They're all form. They're all not real, lasting happiness. Inward is where it's at. True happiness is inside. And it's just, oh God, I wish people could understand that. And I wish that it was just taught. And I wish that society would get it together. But, you know, having people's egos involved makes a lot of money for a lot of people in media and corporations, and, you know, all of that type of stuff. Anyways, that's a video for another day. But I just want you to think about, if you're ever present, if you're ever fully focused, not even focused, if you're fully just being with the moment. And like I said, it can be fleeting, but just try to even come back to your breath. Try to use your senses to feel where you're at. The wind on your skin, the sounds of birds chirping, the trees as you're running by them, you're looking at them. I love trees. I don't know if you can tell, I'm like all about trees now. The flowers, I mean, come on, they're killing it. But it's just about using your senses and not letting your mind take over you. And once you start getting little glimpses of that, dude, you want so much more. There's so much peace in the present moment, because you're not tripping about shit you don't need to be tripping about. And you want to get back there, and you want to get back there, and you want to keep coming. And it's not easy, because your mind grabs you and you listen to it, and you go and you fight and you fight and you fight. And then sometimes I'll be like, dude, I'm like totally unconscious right now. I'm just wasting all this energy on a thought that is just a thought. It's not even real. And then I release it, and I'm like back in the present moment. And sometimes I have to do that 100 times a day. For the first beginning of it, I didn't even remember to do it. I had to write little notes. I still have notes everywhere saying, come back to the present moment, come back to the present moment. And you just start getting better and better and better at it. Anyways, you guys, find that beauty. I can't believe I went my whole life missing out on just the wonder of shit that's going on. Like, what freaking butterfly landed on a flower the other day. I almost cried. I literally stopped and smelled the roses like 2 weeks ago, and it was like I almost passed out. I think I talked about that already on another video. I don't know, like all this shit's just opening up for me, and I'm like, how did I not know about all this? This is where it's at. Like, whew. So anyways, I hope you guys can get it. If anybody has any questions for me, like I said, I'm new at this, but I would love to share what's worked for me so far, or I can definitely help you get some people like Eckhart Tolle and, The Power of Now, and what's the other one? The New Earth, and then also Untethered Soul. I mean, all of those things will guide you. But anyways, I hope you guys find that wonder and get out of your heads and into the present moment. And I love you guys. Well, I don't know if I love all of you, but I love a lot of you. And I'll see you next Sunday. All right, peace.